You may love this romantic style that seems to be on trend right now. A lot of what I have seen it being called is girl decor, but romantic style has been around for so long now, and so many of the ladies of the house have been enjoying this style, but you may not like how overwhelming it is, or just maybe what you have seen has been too much. It's too much clutter. It's all just too much. So how can you enjoy this in a minimal way? Well, today I hope to answer that for you. Welcome back, ladies. Today I wanted to share just some of my thoughts when it comes to enjoying romantic decor, but in a minimal way. So I have some key areas to think on when it comes to the romantic style and being able to bring it into your home today. And we will go over that. I did ask, how can I help you with romantic decor over on my community page? And that brought in a lot of different questions. So I look forward to answering these. The one that kind of sparked the topic, I would say, for today's video when it came to romantic decor came from Amy G 1980. She said, how can I decorate romantically but still be minimal? I don't like a lot of things. Well, hopefully you can tell I really don't like a lot of things either. I may have more than the minimalists. I don't consider myself a minimalist, but I do love minimal when it comes to decorating. I do love more of a simple decor style, but I like things to be pretty. I love for there to be very beautiful detail in things. I really appreciate the art within it. And so that's kind of what I am going to talk to you about today, is just what I look for and how I bring romance into my decorating. Now, of course, this is not a style that is for everyone, and this isn't to convince anyone to go with this style. But if you do love romantic style, I hope that these little areas that I'm going to talk about will be beneficial for you. And then of course there are those of you who struggle with this because you love it, but maybe your husband doesn't love it, or whoever it is that you're living with, and you are trying to find that happy medium or being able to compromise on different things. So I have something to share with you when it comes to that as well. And then I also have some inspiring books that have inspired me along the way when it has come to romantic decor. These are the key areas that I focus on when I am decorating my home in a minimal but romantic way. The first one would be the lighting. Lighting is everything when it comes to conveying that romantic feel. You don't want bright overhead lighting. You really want warm bulbs, like the warm lighting. So we're not just talking about candles here, but just the lights that you use within your home. I love having lights on dimmer switches because I am able to control just the intensity of the light. So even within our bedroom, I didn't want anything bright overhead. I wanted it to be very relaxed in here and very beautiful and just inviting. And so we have our nightstand lights on dimmer switches, and that is just wonderful to me. Even this chandelier in here in my bathroom, that is on a dimmer switch, so it's not even at its full capacity right now. And then even within spaces like within my bathroom, for instance, I have a little lamp in there in the corner, and it's just so much nicer to walk in when there's not a bright light, or when you turn on a light, it's not just so bright. So I really do like lamps especially. And then when we're on the subject of lamps, lamps that have stained glass in them. This is very much romantic. When you're thinking about romantic, you're also thinking about possibly Victorian homes, and they definitely had stained glass windows, and then of course the Tiffany lamps, things like that. Now recently I did add a new stained glass lamp to my collection, and that one, I was searching for a pink glass, stained glass lamp, and this one came up right away. It's beautiful. It came in 2 different sizes, and I love having it on my desk because I just wanted to have a warm light there, but nothing that would be glaring in my eyes. So this is one that I really love. Then of course we do have to talk about candles. Tapered candles are one of the most romantic, I would say, but still just making sure whatever candles you have, burn those candles. Set your table with candles. Put candles on a mantle. You don't have to have too many, of course, but just a couple here and there really makes a big difference. I also just want to say this is not by any means an exhaustive list of romantic decor, but these are just some key things to think about and to touch on. We of course cannot speak of romantic style without talking about flowers. Flowers in all of their forms. So whether that is fresh, faux, on the wall, on chairs, on, pattern stuff, anything like that. Flowers galore. And you can bring this in, I would say, in a minimal way, even on wallpaper. It's all about just how many there are, how big they are, how small they are, what kind of feel you want in that room. But especially in a very inexpensive way, you can bring in some faux florals, or even if you want to treat yourself to fresh flowers on a weekly basis or maybe every other week, whatever it is, bringing that in, focusing on maybe one arrangement or even something that you would have on your bedside table. This is such a wonderful way to bring in this feeling. The most romantic of flowers, I would say, would be the rose, of course, followed by the peony, but they are just so beautiful and definitely feel romantic. The next area would be mirrors and pictures. So let's talk about mirrors first. Mirrors, these were pretty hard to come by, I would say, for myself over the years, ones that had that romantic look to them. But thankfully that style is coming back, and I'm loving what I see in Hobby Lobby, in Home Goods, just different stores like that where they have more of that beautiful romantic detail to them. A lot of the gold, mirrors, those are so beautiful, but you can also find these secondhand, and I have found some beautiful ones. My mom has found some for me as well, and I love putting mirrors up within my home. It's a great way to have more of a minimal look without a lot of things on the walls, but still just it adds something and also makes your space feel bigger. And then we can talk about pictures and picture frames. So I was having trouble for a while trying to figure out, okay, what is my problem when it comes to pictures and just putting them out and feeling as if it fits with my decor style and just that I'm happy with the way everything is coming together. This is what I have found. That to me, I love a romantic style, and romance to me in decorating doesn't have a lot of pictures on the wall. It's more art that would be on the wall and not pictures of people. So I've just I've struggled with this because I've seen so many pictures where people do picture walls, and I think, oh, I need to get all of my pictures out and put them on the wall. But when I would do this, I always ended up taking them down because I just didn't like it. I didn't feel like it fit well, and I would tire of it very quickly, and it would feel overwhelming and like it was just too much. So what I have found, and what I've actually taken note of when I watch different period films, is that they had a lot of picture frames on tabletops, and a lot of them would be together. Occasionally you would have, one here or there, maybe on a nightstand or something. But I really noticed that there were picture frames all grouped together on top of a tabletop, on top of a piano back, something like that. And so that is how I started to arrange my pictures, and I felt so much better about my space. I even ended up taking down some floating shelves that I had in my living room because I felt like it was just too much. Something felt out of place. And it was a really big wall, and I thought, oh, I'm helping to break up this wall by putting these floating shelves here, but it just always felt a little off to me. And of course, it wasn't a really great way to use that space. It looked like it was too small for the space. It just, all of it was off. And then seeing the pictures on my buffet table and then the other pictures on the wall, you know, beyond that, it was just all too much. So once I took that off and I just have those pictures that I get to enjoy on the tabletop and switching them out when I want to, that made a lot more sense to me. It felt a lot more romantic and just beautiful, and I loved it. And then also when I find different frames that I think are beautiful and romantic in style, this is a very easy way to switch things out. You tire of certain things or you want to move little things around here and there. This is a very easy way to be able to do that and not to put extra holes in your walls. Now let's talk about fabrics. This is a wonderful way to be able to bring in romantic style without it being too overwhelming. So you need to think more along the lines of the details, not so much the pattern. Pattern is obviously what can make something feel very overwhelming or like it's too much. I am not saying that this isn't beautiful at all, but if you are looking to have more of that minimal look, just try to pay attention more to the details and maybe a more monochromatic color scheme would be better for you. So that's kind of the color scheme that I try to go with, especially in my room, because I feel that a more monochromatic look is more pleasing to my eye, and it just calms me down. It's much more peaceful. So that's what I try to go with. It's also, it just it doesn't feel as busy. So these are different things to think on. How are you easily overwhelmed? If there is too much pattern, if there's too much to look at, maybe that's when you start feeling like something is too much. When you're decorating in your living room, make sure that you don't have too many pillows, for instance, too many throw pillows on the sofa, because that can be another thing that bothers you. If you have to constantly pick up after your kids or whoever else is within the home because the pillows just end up on the floor, or is that just me? There are other things that you can do when it comes to the textiles, such as curtains. Curtains are a wonderful way to dress your windows and to bring in a more romantic style. All of the swag, all of the draping, that is just so romantic, especially sheers or lace curtains, or even just lace tablecloths or doilies or runners. These are different ways that you can soften a space without it feeling like there's too much in it. Now let's talk about furniture. The furniture that I would say leans more French in style. I love French Provençal furniture, especially those pieces that are well made. A lot of them are secondhand. A lot of them just have the beautiful flowing lines to them and a lot of detail. And you also may notice that a lot of them are smaller in scale. So you're not looking for really big chunky pieces of furniture or chunky legs or, you know, things like that. This is going to bring more of that romantic feel into the overall look of the room. Now I have two questions that I wanted to answer, and hopefully this will help any of you that may be struggling with these same things. Millie May Rose said, recently married and moved into an old house. We will start gutting and completely remodeling next month. What can I do to make it cozy for the time being? I love this question because we renovated this house, and I remember just the struggle that it was to enjoy the everyday things while living amongst the chaos. So one of the things that I made sure to do was really focus on the table, especially because we would be, you know, enjoying a dinner together or just meals at the table. And so either making sure to, you know, set the table beautifully still, even if all you have is maybe a folding table. You can put a tablecloth on it. You can still bring out your good dishes. You can use your candles, light those candles, put a beautiful flower arrangement on the center of the table, because when you're sitting at the table, you really are there with one another, but you get to enjoy that right in front of you. And just it's like everything else is blurred in the background except for what you're enjoying in that moment. And then something as small as like a little vase next to the sink where you're washing your hands, some really great scented hand soap, you know, those little things that, okay, so everything around you doesn't look great, but what are the little things that you can bring in that really do help you enjoy the everyday? Candles, beautiful soaps, beautiful tablecloths, flowers, stuff like that. Those are the kind of things that I would focus on. I think this is how you say it. Queen Snapple said, romantic but not overly feminine. My fiance wants to feel like it's his space too. I have something that I think might help you with this. So overall, I really hope that everyone, okay, can get to a place where whatever their style is, their significant other is able to appreciate that as well, and that they would want to see them happy and being able to embrace what they love. And especially for the lady of the house, this is so important because she's taking care of the space. But there are men out there that, of course, want to have a say in, you know, the decor of the home. I can't relate to that because my husband does not care at all, but he does have an overall feeling of the home because of the way that I care for it. And the way that I care for it, a lot of it is based off of, you know, feeling good in my space and wanting to create a lovely home for my family as well. So that is what is coming across in my decor style, and the freedom to be able to embrace that style has really helped me in my homemaking, I know. So maybe this is even something that you can talk to your husband or your fiance about, but all of that aside, okay, and I'm not saying, you know, make everything pink or anything like that, but there should be a level of compromise there. So if it's to the point where, you know, not an ounce of pink is allowed in the home because, you know, he wouldn't like it or he wouldn't feel comfortable in there. Okay, but maybe you like that, okay? Something I would encourage you to do is focus on your spaces. Focus on the places that only you see and that you deal with. So I've shared a lot of this throughout my channel. When I share how I organize something, for example, how I organize my wardrobe, how I organize my armoire or my nightstands or anything, especially anything that has drawers in it, making sure to line them beautifully, making sure that those things that are unseen to everyone else, you know that you see them and you can beautify them for yourself. Another space that you can definitely focus on would be your desk. So especially if you have a secretary desk, I love those because you can put them, you know, you can hide things away in there. You open it up. One of the things that I did in one of my secretary desks is I painted the inside of it. So it was a beautiful color that just brightens my mood when I see it. And then also outfitting your desk with beautiful stationery. This stationery can also act as a way to decorate this space, and it's functional as well. Then having a pretty candle on there, maybe a flower arrangement. These are just very simple, easy ways to bring in more romantic decor. I really hope that these suggestions help you. Now let's talk about books that have inspired me and that I just think are really great for gaining some kind of inspiration for decor. So this one, Paris in Bloom, this is by Georgiana Lane. I just love, of course, all of the colors, all of the flowers in here. But one of the things that really stands out to me is the detail of everything, of the architecture. And it's so simple. There's not a lot of stuff, right? But it's the details in whether it is the walls, the staircases, things like that. Even just, oh, I love this, just this out the balcony, you know, it's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it is so beautiful. So what I gained so much from this was just seeing how they unapologetically embrace these romantic styles. And it's definitely romantic. All of it is. And I think that that is wonderful, especially in a just where you see so little of that on a day-to-day basis. At least I do. I just see so little of it. And then, of course, with a lot of the styles that are very popular right now with, you know, a lot of the beige or the grays or anything like that, and not having color infused in it and no detail, just very straight lines. I love books like that. The next one, and one of my most recent purchases, has been this Return to Pretty by Caitlin Wilson, Giving New Life to Traditional Style. This has been such a wonderful addition to, you know, my inspiration books for so many different reasons. I love just everything, so many things that I have found in here. If you are looking for visual inspiration, her book, Return to Pretty, is great. She talks about the power of pretty, call it grand millennial or classic prep, but we've come full circle and entered the world of the new traditional. I loved reading this. This was recommended to me by one of my subscribers and patrons and now lovely friend, Alicia Woodward. So I've been enjoying that. The colors in there, just everything. So beautiful. Now, a book that I have loved over the years has been French Country Cottage by Courtney Allison. She, I would say, I mean, there's so much in here that I have loved and just taken away. Just all of the different things that she embraces, even just the way the antique furniture is that she looks for. Just, it's so great. Definitely romantic style. I would say her style is one of the most romantic that I've seen. And I just really love it. There's such an ease to the way that she decorates. I love this Return to Pretty one, but most of it would be like out of my price range to be able to get the kind of look that I love a lot. I definitely love it, but I'm just not there yet to be able to do a lot of those things. But what I can take away from that is just embracing all of the pretty things and not being afraid to use pretty things, you know. But there's like an effortless elegance with this style here, and that's kind of what the way that I have tried to you know, base a lot of my decor around, because the season of life that I'm in, it's, you know, with kids and things, just like I can't get a white couch right now, as much as I love a white couch and everything. It's not, well, she has a white couch in here, okay, but it's just not where we're at right now, right? So anyway, there were a lot of other things in there that maybe, especially if you like a lot of pink, but one of the things that I noticed with Courtney's is that she really decorates a lot with flowers. That's where that feminine, aside from the furniture, that's really where you see a lot of that feminine style, is with the flowers, and they're so pretty. So anyway, those are some books. And then of course I love Victoria magazine for inspiration. But going into it knowing that it's a lot of this, I mean, it's for pictures, you know, it's not necessarily how I would layer things for an everyday look, but just wonderful articles in here. Not to mention my friend Jennifer L. Scott of the Daily Connoisseur is their writer in residence, and this, for this March and April issue, she wrote Bringing the Garden In. So very perfect. Perfect for this time of year, especially, well, when this, you know, is supposed to come out for the springtime. But one of the styles that I really connected with in this particular one was this one by Courtney Davey. I just love her decorating style. It actually reminds me a lot of Caitlin Wilson's, but anyway, just the blues, the greens, the way that just everything. She has such a beautiful style. So hopefully those visual inspirational books and that magazine, hopefully that will help you with any other questions, or just, you know, gaining some kind of inspiration or leaning in that direction more with that romantic style. Hopefully that will help you. And then of course I include things about decor, also pictures and things like that within my own book, The Lady of the House Inspirations Volume 1. So if you are looking for that, that is available on Amazon, and I have it linked in my description box below. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, there were more questions that I did not get to. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below, and maybe I will make a follow-up video to this one. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next